All right, so this has been a requested video. People have wanted me to do a video on the whole Liver King situation, so we're just gonna jump into it. I actually had a video to post a few months ago in September. I was doing a men's health interview, and at the very end of the interview, the guy off the record asked me, what do you think about the Liver King guy? Do you think he's natural? And I said, like, point blank, I said, absolutely, there is 0% chance this guy is natural. Anyone in fitness worth a grain of salt can look at him and know very clearly he's not natural. It's his protruded gut, the GH gut. It's his skin. It's very reddish and grainy. In fact, testosterone affects your skin. That's why women have such soft, luscious skin. Whereas when you have very, very high levels of testosterone, your skin can change. And of course, it's his physique. At his height and his weight, that is not possible naturally. Not even in 0.001 of the population. That physique is not possible. But going even a level deeper, right? I actually looked at his training. I analyzed his training, and that style of training does not build a muscular body. It just does not. If you look at his training, he's working out all the time and he's doing conditioning. He's doing a lot of shoulder presses, burpees, this exercise, running around doing circuits. That is not building strength and muscle. That's conditioning. That's training your aerobic and anaerobic system, okay? And that does not build muscle. To actually build strength and muscle, you need to take a lot of rest. Now, he's able to have a really juicy muscular physique because he takes a lot of compounds. And it was very clear early on, I'm like, this is not just that he's on testosterone, this guy's on a lot of stuff. It was very surprising to me because this was common 10, 20, 30 years ago. 10, 20, 30 years ago, it was common to have a guy that's just way too jacked claiming natural. Now, in the last 5 years, we know, and like I said, anyone worth a grain of salt in fitness can look at him and be like, that's not natural. So I was very surprised how hard he was going on interviews saying, no, I'm natural.
Question has always been, do you take steroids? Do you take PEDs? The answer to that is no.
And people fell for it. You'd be surprised. A lot of people, even people that think they know fitness, thought he was natural. People got swept up in the story, swept up in this bearded guy that eats organ meats and testes and liver, and they got famoosed. He famoosed the goose. Everyone was falling for it. I actually had no idea how strongly he stated he was natural on interviews. When I watched that video that Derek did, which was really, really well done, I was like, holy shit, I was getting pissed off. I'm like, this guy tried to make people feel stupid, and he tried to make people feel like, oh, you have super low standards. Your standards are so low, you don't think this is possible. I've been working out for 40 years, you don't think this is possible? I have great genetics. I was jacked when I was 16. I put on 1 or 2 pounds of muscle a year. How is that not possible? Like, he'd make people feel like victims and stupid for actually questioning whether he was natural. And that is downright and absolutely wrong. You know, this is why a few years ago I was trying to push that natty verified movement, because the thing I will say to Liver King's credit is that he's not the exception. He's not the one guy in fitness that got caught. This is actually most people in fitness. Most people in fitness are famoosing the goose. They're claiming natural and they're on drugs. Most of the industry, okay? And I actually, in that video I was gonna post a few months ago, I never got it edited. I feel stupid, I never put that video out. All right, so I just finished up a big interview. At the end of the interview, I was like, hey, I got a few more minutes if you wanna chat about anything else. And he's like, yeah, what about Liver King? Do you think he's natural? What do you think about the 9 essential tenets? So I said, look, he's done an amazing job marketing himself. He is blown up on the scene. He's got a ton of attention. So he's done an incredible job marketing himself. Secondly, the idea whether he's natural or not is he's completely not natural. There's no question in my mind. It's very clear. The signs of the drug use are there. If you're gonna promote a fitness program or health or supplements and say that is how you built your body when there's drug use involved, that is completely shady. I am the only one. Who else is showing their blood work? Who else is showing transformations? Who else is showing DEXA scans? Who else is showing 315 at 179 pounds? No one's showing it. No one. Who else? Who else is doing it? Just me. But in that video, I said there's a very clear way for him to grow his business, make more money, and actually show some proof, which would be go get your blood work. Show blood work in top shape, show everything, show a full blood panel, show LH, FSH, total free, everything. And if he could show blood work that looked healthy, normal, in range with nothing way out of whack that indicates steroid use, then holy shit, we'd have to stop and think for a second. Okay, that's weird, that's crazy. Can he do that again 3-4 months later in top shape and hit those numbers? Because it's very hard to cheat full blood work. That's why I did my blood work with Derek on More Plates, More Dates. He analyzed it. I literally did the test 3 days after chatting with him. He's like, yes, let's do your blood work. 3 days, I went to Miami, I did my blood work, he analyzed it, and that is extremely hard to cheat. In fact, when you go on steroids, when you go on even SARMs, it can take 9 months for your luteinizing hormone, which is a precursor to testosterone, to bounce back. It could take 9 months. Now, maybe there's some ways to take some pro-fertility hormones and get it up, but again, it's still very hard to do. In fact, anyone that's actually on gear would not want to risk doing blood work in top shape because it would be very hard to make sure that everything is natural and healthy. Here's one problem that I see, okay, with this Liver King guy. I developed my fitness philosophy and even my supplements that I use as a natural, trying to solve my problems, trying to build a better physique, stay lean naturally, get in great shape. And he designed his fitness philosophy while pumping lots of gear. And the two is very, very different. You can actually crack the code when you're natural, you're training, and you're trying to put the pieces together. If he was a natural, he would have realized his training philosophy is garbage. It does not work. Sure, if you want to have good conditioning and be able to recover fast and do burpees and then pull-ups and then push-ups, but it's very clear that training philosophy is garbage for building a great physique when you're natural. It does not work. I do want to give someone like him a second chance to come clean, to improve. He made a big mistake. He lied to people. He conned people. He did it in the name of building his business. And he made young, susceptible teenagers and even young adults fall for it and think there's some magic to these organ meats. And yeah, of course they're healthy. Of course they're good for you. Of course they're loaded with nutrition, but it's not magic. And you're not gonna build a roided up physique taking organ meats. Absolutely. I'm not gonna, I don't think anyone needs to continue to attack him. I just think that, that he loses a lot of credibility in the fitness industry and he loses a lot of credibility in his business. And now what he's saying really is that he's gonna go natural. And I personally think he's just gonna do another lie. I don't know if he's changed. The idea that he's gonna stop all these drugs, and he's gonna go back to having normal, healthy, high levels of testosterone is wrong. It's not a thing. When you abuse these drugs, your body rarely, if ever, bounces back. That's why when you look at some of these other big fitness YouTubers that are open about their drug use and them pushing it high for bodybuilding, they're not natural anymore. They are on TRT. They maintain a high level of testosterone within the natural range, whatever that is, 900, 1,000, maybe maximum 1,200, but they do it with TRT because if they were to go off it completely, their body has lost the ability to produce testosterone. What he should do is he should have said, you know what? I've abused this stuff really freaking hard. I want to see if I can actually rebuild my levels and rebuild my hormonal system, but it's going to be very, very hard. I might have to go on TRT, but I'm going to keep my levels healthy. And right now, my health is the top priority. But because I abuse this, I might not be able to get my levels back. And in fact, I actually know a guy close to me who was an athlete as a teenager, and his coach had all his athletes start doing testosterone, steroids as teenagers, and he's on TRT. He can't get his T levels back. His T levels were sub 300. So they were really, really low because he damaged his body's ability to produce testosterone. This stuff affects you like you cannot believe. And when you're taking 5 different compounds and pumping up the doses and trying to get as jacked as possible, training like an idiot, he was doing what is known as fuck-arounditis. It's a term that Martin Burkhan coined, which is basically you're fucking around. This is not building strength and muscle. You're just fucking around. So now is he gonna be able to, maintain peak health without it? No, you've lost that chance. Once you fuck your body with all these drugs, that chance is gone. So I think he may have not even changed at all. I think he's just trying to, he cares desperately what people think of him in the public eye, and now he's trying to rebrand his image as fast as he possibly can. So, Liver King, if you're actually natural, then after 4, 5, 6 months, show the blood work, show the proof that you're going natural. But again, you're gonna realize the stuff that you did to achieve that physique, or even just achieve results in general, is not gonna work without all those compounds. Because again, your training was wrong. That's why so many people that try and get into fitness, they fail because they follow the training methods of guys that are on lots of gear and their body gets broken down, which is why my system is so minimalist. You train 3 days a week, you focus on the key lifts, you do 4 or 5 exercises per workout, you track every workout, you add a rep each week, you eventually add some weight, and you build up your key lifts to a very high level. My system was created as a natural for natural. The last thing I want you to understand is that Liver King is not the exception, okay? The idea he's that one guy that got caught, that Famous the Goose, is wrong. Most of the industry is on gear, they're on steroids, it's very clear, and most of the industry would not dare do blood work in top shape. Do it once, twice. I've done my blood work 5, 6 times now. 5 or 6 times I've done my blood work, LH, testosterone, everything like that. I'm about to do it again, which will be very cool because I've been taking the Kino Mojo, and I had one guy, the first guy that submitted his blood work, he was on the Kino Mojo, and he took his total testosterone from mid-800s to over 1,000. But that wasn't even cool. He got a 20% increase in his total testosterone. His levels were already high, and he was lean and working out already. He increased his free testosterone from about 12 nanograms per deciliter to about 17.5 nanograms per deciliter, which is absolutely insane. He had a 50% increase in his free testosterone. There's a lot of guys that have 6, 7, 800, 900 total, but a lot of times their free is super average. When I did my blood test with Derek, I was on very, very low sleep. My total was 520, super average, nothing solid, but my free was 21.97 nanograms per deciliter, which means I have very high free T. So I'm excited to do some more blood work in top shape now that I've been using the Kino Mojo, which is freaking awesome. And it's just back in stock if you guys want to try it. But that is my video. And last but not least, anyone that does their blood work, goes on Mojo for 2 months and gets the before and after of their total and free testosterone, I will hook you up with literally 12 bottles of Mojo. I'm gonna be doing this for the first 30 guys to produce blood work for me. You're gonna get literally a year supply of Mojo on the house, plus some other cool hookups, okay? Because I actually like to show the proof. It's one thing to wake up and be like, damn, like your soul just saluting you. You feel better, you're more inspired to work out, you have more ambition, but it's very, very cool to actually see it on paper. Your testosterone levels are higher, your free levels are higher. So first 30 people to produce blood work for me on the Mojo for 2 months gets hooked the fuck up. And I'll see you guys soon.